Yeah, I just wanted to address a major talking point, source of contention, surely in Israel, about drafting the Haredim into the army. The Haredim being the ultra-religious, uh, you know, section of society. There's been a lot of unfortunate back and forth, Haredim protesting against it, army arresting some of these guys for dodging the draft. So I thought it was worth taking a look at a specific story here because I get a lot of comments from modern Orthodox people, religious Zionists, secular Jews, say the Haredim should serve. Why don't they serve? Well, let's just take a look at this story that came out 2 days ago. Okay. Hesder combat soldiers assigned to units with female soldiers. For those of you who don't know, Hesder is a joint program, which interestingly enough is actually just religious Zionists. It's not even the ultra Orthodox. So religious Zionists who do go to the army, the Hesder program is basically a half, and how it's broken up exactly, I'm not 100% sure, but basically they spend time learning, and then they go on to the army. Like Hesder, it's like a preparatory program, basically, for religious Zionists, religious Jews. They were assigned to units with female soldiers. Now, we understand, those of us who know, mixed units are not exactly places that promote modesty between men and women. This may be fine for secular soldiers who may even prefer it, but certainly for religious Jews, this is not exactly a situation that they would find to be accommodating of their religious lifestyle. And this is well known, right? This is not simply an oversight. This is not a shock to anyone. You ask any secular person, oh yes, and understand the army is not an office, right? Say, well, what's the big deal? You can just work with females. It's a lot more close quarters than this. You're practically living together. So keep that in mind. Combat soldiers in the Hesder program were recently assigned to regiments under the Yara division in the Home Front Command. Regiments that include female soldiers from mixed gender units. One soldier described difficulty saying his service, saying, "We've reached an impossible situation." This was done with no regard whatsoever for these soldiers' religious lifestyle. It is clear that the IDF doesn't care. They don't care. Despite the fact that they've been spending months, or a year maybe more, screaming and crying, we don't have enough soldiers, we need more soldiers, we can't fight the war without more soldiers. Well, if soldiers is what you need, why would you disrespect religious soldiers like this? Why would you do that? Have we seen an apology from the defense minister, from the chief of staff, saying this is terrible, we need to make a change, we don't understand how this happened? No, nothing. Like I said, this article came out 2 days ago. So the story certainly happened before then. Nothing. These people, well, I think that everyone should serve. I think this, I think that. Does the state not have a responsibility to accommodate soldiers in the most basic way possible? This is not a matter of, well, we gave them kosher food, but they had a certain higher level of stringency. No, this is basic and easy to accommodate. Easy. But what this goes to show is the utter disdain and disregard they have for religious soldiers. And as I said, Hesder is not actually Haredi, it's religious Zionists. And the religious Zionists overwhelmingly are in combat units. They're not sitting behind desks in Tel Aviv. They are more than their own representation serving in combat units, and this is how they're treated. You could say, oh, well, the Haredim don't serve, so we don't care. We'll treat them bad. these guys do serve a lot and are eager to serve multiple rounds of reserve duty, and this is how they're being treated. You know, two things can be true at the same time. You can say, yeah, everyone should serve, and that's fine. But do not ignore the fact that the IDF and all of the people that sit in this government treat religious soldiers like garbage. Like garbage. Because again, this costs nothing. This is not like, well, you don't have the money. What does this actually take? Have a male unit only. How difficult is this? And by the way, yes, women are in the army. The far majority of them do not do combat. So we're going to say, well, we have like 50-50. How are we supposed to separate men and women? In combat roles, you practically already have 90-10, or maybe even higher, slanted towards men. So it's pretty easy to have just male units. Dozens of Hester soldiers who have served in the Kfir Brigade report that their requests to transfer to other units were not properly addressed. So not only are they stuck here and placed in a unit that's not appropriate for them. Let's be honest. Everyone knows this. We have a chief rabbi of the government that can explain to the chief of staff and defense minister, guys, this is not going to work for religious soldiers. So not only were they stuck there, they can't even transfer out. It's made service impossible for them. Does this look like an army that values religious soldiers? No. And the idiots screaming about equal service, equal service. Do they come and say, yeah, we support equal service, but these religious soldiers should be accommodated? Do they say that? No. No. They just say everyone should serve and you're a slave of this state and your religious rights and sensitivities should be trampled upon. That's what they say. Is this a serious way to do things? Would an outside observer look and say people that scream about equal draft, would anyone look at them and say that these people are arguing in good faith? No, because they aren't. One soldier described his experience. The regiment started as a regular regiment, and over time, girls joined the unit. Why? Why? You don't have enough completely secular units to put them in? You can't transfer soldiers from secular units into this one? So it's all male? Is there really no way to accommodate this? At first in one company, then in another, and apparently this will continue to grow. Why? So that the IDF can show, hey, religious soldiers, we're your boss. We tell you what to do. If we tell you to eat not kosher, that's what you'll do. If we tell you to live in a unit with females, that's what you'll do. Now, I'm a religious guy. You think I'm going to support the IDF or any army in the world treating religious Jews like this? You think I'm going to stand by and support that? Sorry, the answer is no. You want soldiers? Treat the religious soldiers that you have in this country, treat them decently. We're not asking for anything special. Treat them decently. Respect their religious background. What is so complicated here? We are not an insignificant group of soldiers who requested a transfer from the start. And we encountered constant refusal because we are in a, quote, mixed-gendered company. In the last assignment, the whole regiment spent nearly a week in the same school complex. And they lived together, too. For me, it reached a breaking point. It became really impossible to continue like this. You know what this is? I'll tell you what this is. This is basically the IDF prioritizing DEI and equality and all of this left-wing garbage before army and military readiness and unit cohesion. That's what this is. This is not about equal draft. It's not about this. These guys have joined the army. And what do they find when they get to the army? It's not about defeating the enemy. It's not about having a cohesive unit. It's about DEI. Diversity, equality, and inclusion. That's what it's about. Maybe they'll bring transgender soldiers in too. Maybe that. Why not? Right? Because that's what it's about. It's not about fighting the enemy. It's about garbage like this. Now this is interesting. Now some people can say, oh, this is sexist. This is chauvinist. Efrat Lupo. Efrat's a female name in Hebrew, in case you didn't know. Founder of the Wives of Soldiers for the Kedushas HaMachaneh, Sanctity of the Camp. These are wives of these soldiers, because you have a lot of reserve soldiers too. We're not just talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds. We have reserve soldiers who go and provide support to these units. So you have married men that are being forced into these mixed units. And their wives are saying this is not good. So this is not, oh, these men, these terrible men. No, it's their wives who are not interested in this. Responded, enough with harming soldiers who observe religious traditions in the name of progress. Right, thank you. The IDF must, and I'll add should, respect its soldiers who keep the commandments. There is no way to discuss the recruitment of Haredim without allowing observant soldiers to serve properly in the IDF. Bingo. Bingo. That's exactly it. This is how you treat religious soldiers, and then you expect the Haredim are going to come and say, oh yes, absolutely. You expect their rabbis of Haredi soldiers to say, yes, we're going to send our 18 and 19-year-old students, to the IDF and have the IDF treat them like this, and much worse, by the way. Much, much worse. Why should they agree? Why? When you see how cynically the IDF behaves towards religious soldiers, why on earth should the Haredim agree to go to this army? Why? Without massive changes taking place. Just like Efrat Lupo said here. When progress and left-wing DEI garbage is what is number one, and unit cohesion and defeating the enemy is number two, why should anyone join this army for? Why? On the other hand, sources familiar with the matter claim that there is no deviation from the IDF's gender regulations. And the regiments comply with the guidelines. Well, you know what? If they comply with the guidelines, maybe those guidelines need to be changed. If your priority is to bring in soldiers, fighting men into your army, then maybe you have to ditch DEI silliness like mixed gender units. At least when it comes to religious soldiers. You want to have secular men mixed with secular women? Hey, you know what? If the IDF can prove that this actually improves readiness and military effectiveness, okay, fine. But you want religious soldiers in your units? Yes, this is something you need to start accommodating, yes. The IDF stated, we're going to get some quote, a quote that was crafted by a soldier who sits behind a desk in Tel Aviv, dictating to real soldiers who are actually fighting with a gun in their hand, dictating to them what they should accept. Now, what does that sound like? The IDF acts to the best of its ability to provide soldiers with appropriate service. They do the best of its ability. If this is the best of its ability, then we need new leadership of the IDF. If that's true, if this is considered to the best of its ability, then we need some big changes very, very quickly. regarding gender and in response to religious and cultural needs within the framework of existing principles and capabilities. This is garbage. This is straight up total garbage. And no one with an ounce of honesty can look at this and say that this is fine, that this is okay. How many other places is this going on in? I assure you, it's not just here. It's just, and it's really infuriating to listen to idiots sit and say, oh, religious people, they need to serve in the army more. No, the IDF needs to accommodate religious Jews more than this. This is trash. This is garbage. You want mixed gender units? Then go get your soldiers from somewhere else. Okay? Yes, religious soldiers in this country, they have a right to make a basic demand that they serve in all male units. Yes. Yes. And if the IDF, their guidelines, their priorities are DEI and left-wing garbage, then let them get their soldiers from somewhere else. This is DEI first. This is left-wing equality and I don't even know what this is. Well, religion is bad. We're going to re-educate you in the advanced world of secular humanism and DEI equality. This is not Israel first. This is liberalism and globalism and DEI garbage first. No, we're not interested. And you want something funny? I am not interested in shoving 18-year-old Haredi students into this meat grinder, into this spiritual meat grinder. What is this? What is going on here? And what does the IDF say? They don't. It would be one thing if the IDF came out with a comment, listen, this is not good, and we're going to investigate. Okay, fine. Fine. As bad a situation as this is, I am willing to say, okay, make the correction. Make the correction. Fix this. But that's not what they say. They say everything's fine. Everything's good. What's the problem? What the problem is. That's what they say. This just looks like an IDF that is not dedicated to winning. That's what this looks like. An IDF that has a big giant sign on top that says, religious Jews not welcome here. That's what this says. Does anyone honestly think that that's good for the IDF? Do they? Instead, but what's the argument? Equality. We all need to be drafted. We all this, we all that. You want something funny? I'm not a communist. I don't care about equality. I care about quality, not equality. I want results. I want men who love this country, that are motivated to fight on behalf of the Jewish people and the state of Israel. I want them welcome in this army. And this is a sign that says, not welcome here. We need big changes here. Big changes. Maybe it's Israel Katz, Chief Defense Minister. Maybe it's Eyal Zamir, Chief of Staff. We need big changes here, pronto. Because this is no good. This is not Israel first.